Wow, what a day we had today. Today, Eva and I, my podcast co-host, we went to the Gaza Rim. We visited some sites from October 7th, and then we went to the Nova Festival site to see the memorial of the 364 partygoers who were killed at the Nova Festival on October 7th. And then we went to interview a woman named Roni Kedar, who was living in Nativ HaSara for 50 years almost, and that's on the Gaza River. It's actually the first village next to Aza. She told us today it was the closest one to Aza, and she told us her experiences of October 7th and beyond. She was also good friends with Vivian Silver, very good friends, and so we interviewed her and we heard her story, and then Eva shared her story. It was really intense, and I'm really grateful to Eva for coming with me. She was fully present with me, and that's sort of part of the whole thing, is learning how to be fully present with one another. This was a day about my traumas as an Israeli Jew, and she was holding space for that and for herself. We also talked about what was going on in Gaza as well, but it was definitely a moment of Eva coming into my world a little bit. Now that was interrupted a little bit because while we're there at the Nova Festival and we're trying to just feel that the memorial of 364 people who were massacred while they were dancing, we were interrupted by a massive bombing from Gaza from behind us, which was the idea of still bombing Gaza. And those, booms, they rattle your bones. I mean, it takes time. And we were, 10, 20 kilometers away, if not more, and it's still, and it's, it's just, it's hard. We couldn't even have a moment just to be present at the Nova thing, the Nova Memorial, without being reminded that someone behind us just got bombed. And we're talking bombs. So, and that since Nova, 40,000 Gazans were killed by us. So I am trying to hold a space for that. And even that, that was really hard. Anyway, so just now, I'm almost home. I did a lot of driving today. It's been a very long day. I left early and I'm coming back pretty late. And I took a Trempist. There was a young woman. Turns out she's 18 and a half. She was waiting for a tramp about 5 kilometers from my house. So I drove her to where she was going, and we were chatting, and she said, "Oh, where are you coming from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm coming from the Gaza Rim." She goes, "Oh, that's so nice of you. That was so nice that you went there. Why'd you go there?" So I said, "Well, actually, I have a podcast with my Palestinian friend. She said, "What's your podcast about?" So I said, "It's about making peace." And she said, "Well, how do you do that?" I said, "Well, first we have to make peace within ourselves, within our hearts. It starts from there." And she said, "Does your Palestinian friend, does she want peace? Does she want it too?" Right? In other words, she was already undoing the programming that says, oh, there's no such thing as a Palestinian who wants peace. I heard that. And I said, of course, we want the same things. We just want to live, we want to live peace and freedom, and the ability to just live our lives. Everybody wants that. And then we started discussing, and she goes, "Well, what about all those, the Gazans who held hostages in their houses?" I said, "How many did that?" So there are 2.2 million Gazans. How many people did that? How many, even if there are 30,000 Hamas terrorists holding guns on October 7th, which is a lot, okay, but let's say, even if there are 30,000, even if there are 50,000, out of the 2.2 million people in Gaza, that still leaves the overwhelming majority of people who just want a normal life, who just want to live, who just want to live. And then I said, she goes, "Oh," and then I said, "Plus, we wouldn't want people to judge us by the worst among us." I said, we have Harvey Weinstein, who raped 100 women. We have Bernie Madoff, who stole billions of dollars from people. We have some pretty bad Jews among us. I said, we have Israeli Jews who are also violent and are also terrorists. I said, we don't want people in the world to say, you see, all the Jews are that. We don't want to be judged by the worst among us. So she said to me, I'm so nice to hear another opinion, which is good on the one hand, but on the other hand just tells you what kind of narratives are being shared mostly in Israel, which is, upsetting. But I feel like this little conversation made me realize that I have to talk about this more. I have to talk more about, what we're doing with our podcast and, what it's really about and what motivates me. This motivates me. This motivates me as I want to change people's hearts. I want to help people see others as human beings. I want us to unlearn all of this programming. I was programmed this way too. I recognize the programming because I was there too, I want us to undo all of this programming of dehumanization of the other. That's at the core of everything for me. Anyway, we're going to hopefully get that podcast up in time for October 7th. It was like a special October 7th thing of going there and looking October 7th in the eye together. Me, Jewish American Israeli, and Eva, Palestinian citizen of Israel from Gaza, from Jaffa, being present together and learning how to be present with each other. So we practiced that today. It's a good practice. That's peace activation. That's what Eva calls peace activation. That was it. Today we did some peace activation, and it's good. It's good.